My name is Susan Zahnter. I'm here to represent Westside Concerned Citizens and Friends of the Antelope Valley Open Space. Thank you for the opportunity to speak here today. In January, we filed an appeal concerning the Alpine Solar Project proposed by NRG Energy for the Western Antelope Valley. I'm speaking today on behalf of the two groups that cooperated on this appeal. Our grassroots organizations are composed of private citizens who are concerned about negative impacts of the many industrial utility-scale energy projects proposed for the Western Antelope Valley and the surrounding areas. Since filing the appeal, we have struggled to determine the best course of action. Our main concern from the beginning was the process through which this project was initially approved. Although we have met with NRG and attempted to work with them, ultimately we find that many questions remain unanswered. We appreciate the willingness of NRG to speak with us and believe that if these conversations had taken place before project approval as a part of an EIR process, our remaining questions would have been answered. We have 5 main concerns: lack of an EIR, cumulative impacts, inadequate evaluation of affected habitat, inadequate mitigation, and long-term negative impacts of proposed land management. An EIR should have been required for this and all industrial utility-scale alternative energy projects. A mitigated negative declaration and review by a hearing officer seems inadequate for the sheer scale and size of this project and should did not adequately address impacts and potential mitigation for this project. Local residents and experts were denied an adequate opportunity to express concerns and evaluate proposed mitigation. Local documents for public review, as Adam mentioned, were inconveniently placed in a library in Kern County instead of local Los Angeles County libraries. Cumulative impacts should be considered. At present, and I sent a map, 25,000 acres are only currently proposed for alternative energy projects in the Western Antelope Valley on or near significant ecological areas. These projects pose significant threats to endangered habitat that includes valuable grasslands, wildflower fields, oak and pine woodlands, and rare Joshua tree juniper woodlands, as well as fallow and active farmland. The attached map from our website, avopenspace.org, illustrates the extent of this threat, but I also wanted to add the threat of other large-scale projects in the area, such as Centennial Specific Plan, that would definitely impact critical habitats and open space, and really brings the attention to the need for a comprehensive overview of projects and areas worthy of protection. The MND makes erroneous assumptions that previously farmed land has no habitat value. The MND on page 137 points out, and I quote, "Many species of wildlife that may use the site will not be affected by project development, as the site is already disturbed from agricultural uses and is of limited wildlife value except to some edge-adapted species. In fact, this land is recovering farmland with substantial native vegetation and animal habitat. Audubon, California states that this area has been designated as an important bird area. It also describes grassland bird community as most impressive in winter when large numbers of raptors congregate. The limited survey cited in the MND was done only in May and June. The attached letter from the Audubon, California to the California Energy Commission gives you more information about the importance of Western Antelope Valley grasslands and agricultural fields for many threatened bird species. Even though the project does not actually occur in an SEA, the eastern portion adjoins an SEA, information found in CTAC procedures and guideline concurs, stating, and I quote, "Even degraded areas such as fallow agricultural land or invaded with non-native plants or animal species, but as yet undeveloped land, are undoubtedly important habitat for the biota living there. Furthermore, lands such as these may provide ecological functions beyond that of primary residence for any particular plant or animal species. Such functions include dispersal corridors, buffer areas, and foraging habitat, especially for wide-ranging predators like raptors. The uncertainty with which a parcel can be immediately recognized as significant is therefore considerable," unquote. The M&D includes a plan for the relocation of the resident burrowing owls. However, it does not address the impacts from runoff that could contain soil conditioners, herbicides, pesticides, and cleaning agents that will drain into the ephemeral wash that is reported as suitable habitat and forage for burrowing owls, raptors, and other wildlife. The proposed mitigation land is inadequate. The project property is surrounded by 9 fragments of the SEA, and you received that little map. It's kind of a blow-up and a little fuzzy, but it gives you an idea of where this project is located within the fragments of SEA 60. This Joshua Tree California juniper woodland once covered the entire western Antelope Valley. This project will further fragment this already fragile environment. Mitigation for this project should offer long-term protection for these parcels and provide connectivity between them and the nearby Ripley Woodland State Park and LA County Desert Pines Wildlife Sanctuary. An EIR was required for another nearby project, AV Solar Ranch 1. They were required to set aside valuable habitat equal to 25% of their project land for mitigation. An endowment to maintain that mitigation was also required. Alpine plans to maintain possession of the mitigation land they have offered, and we have no evidence that the long-term viability of this land being maintained as habitat or whether it will become isolated by future projects. Inadequate analysis of cumulative effects of proposed project land management. Huge tracts of land supporting vast arrays of crowded solar panels that will be in continuous existence for the next 25 to 30 years is a new land use for the western Antelope Valley. The effects on habitat within the project, within and without, over a long period of time, have simply not been sufficiently analyzed. A healthy, thriving habitat may be possible with the right combination of flora and fauna and the elimination or minimizing of the use of biocides. A major question: what will grow well in sunlit open desert, primarily in shade or partial shade beneath solar panels? Perhaps some changes will have to be made to meet these new parameters. Again, an EIR would allow those with expertise beyond our own to perform a more careful analysis and create an appropriate mitigation, landscape, and land management plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions of the first speaker? All right, great. Seeing none, if you'll vacate the seat and then the woman behind you can take that seat. Sir, you can start.